Yo, what's happening? You already know what time it is. It's Demola, aka D-Man, and I'm here, ready to just, talk to the man them and the gal them. But first, we're fresh from Malta. It's been a mad couple of days. I literally landed today, and boy, I had a great time at R&B Slow Jams. I even found my way at Freedom Street, even though Bashment isn't my number one choice of genre for music. However, Vibes Cartel shut it down. I missed Shen Yang, but I don't even know if you can tell, but I've lost my voice a little bit, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. And one thing I will say is, I just enjoyed being able to be outside, the last bits of summer, enjoy it with my friends and family. And on top of that, I was just surprised by the love that I've been getting when I was in the airport, even in Malta, or just walking around and people saying, oh, I saw you on Love is Blind, or my mum loves you. Just the love that I've been getting has been overwhelming, but overwhelming in a good way. And I just want to say I'm grateful because I was never expecting to receive so much love. But I guess people just really resonated with my story, and I'm happy for that, and I only thank God. But since everyone keeps asking me, how did you end up on Love is Blind? How did you apply? Was your dating life that bad? I thought I might as well sit down and tell everyone the real ish and just explain the whole process and my journey. No edits, no sugarcoating, just gonna give you the real unfiltered truth of how I ended up on the show. Quick whistle stop tour, because I know I can ramble, so I want to give you as much detail, but I don't want to bore you as well. I think it was around early July, I received a DM. I might even have to check, but I received a DM from one of the casting team. I thought I was being pranked, punked, as Ashton Kutcher would say, whatever. I just didn't know what was going on. So, yeah. And I didn't actually know about the show. I didn't know what Love is Blind was. So, for me, I just thought, ignore this or whatever. But then I forwarded it to my brother, and he said, no, that's a real show. Him and his wife love the show, that I should inquire a little bit more about the show. So then I spoke to the casting agent. They asked to go on a phone call. We spoke about the show, and they also told me to have a look at the show and ins and outs, and that I would need to hop on for a video call, which would then be sent off to Netflix to see if they would actually approve of me to be on the show. And because it was so last minute, I think literally I was one of the last few to be casted. I was right at the end of it. I had to then, I think within the next couple of days, hop on a video call where I spoke to them, answered the questions. My sister even jumped in to vouch for me a little bit. But yeah, it was a fun conversation. I enjoyed understanding a little bit more about the show, but I was still uncertain. However, I don't know if you have heard in one of the podcasts with Jessie Woo, the lovely Jessie Woo, I explained at that moment of time, I wasn't really focusing on dating and trying to, as they say, find a wife or anything. I was just focused on myself. So I wasn't really, I'd come out of a long-term relationship and I'd been single for 2.5 years. So for me, I was just focusing on sorting stuff out. I didn't know if I wanted to still be in the UK. And so from there, I just thought, okay, let's take a step back. It's a sign that maybe I should delve into this a little bit and see where it takes me, because not too long ago, my cousin in America had one of the same opportunities. I hope one time he goes into light of what actually happened, but it was similar how he ended up on The Bachelorette, where he didn't really actually apply. It was a last minute thing, I'd say a turnaround of 2 weeks. He ended up on the show and he ended up winning The Bachelorette, and now he's engaged to the lovely Charity. So I just thought, let me speak to him about the whole thing and see if maybe I should just go for it and it's a sign from above. And that's what I done. So now I got the all clear that I had to do one more in-person, I guess, interview or casting call with some of the exec producers where they would speak to me, ask me questions, find out my real intentions of being married and so forth. So then I went in and had this call where a little bit, I think for me, I don't know why, I was a little bit nervous because I was just like, oh, okay, so I've got to like tell them about my life, what I think about marriage and just how I am. But once I sat down, I was comfortable because it was just me being me, speaking about my previous relationship and any of my dating history and just so forth and what I wanted in a wife and what I was looking for in a woman. So I actually kind of brushed off that nerves very quickly and I had a good call and I enjoyed it just because it was just something where I could just express myself. Now, it's about my family's reaction. So obviously, because you couldn't really tell anyone and you didn't know if he was actually going to go on the show, you still had to keep it kind of tight-lipped. So I worked for a corporate company and yeah, I don't think it would have been easy to get the time off and see what happens. But I didn't have any annual leave, so the show process could have been from up to 2 to 8 weeks, depending on how far along you go. And I just wanted to make sure that I told work that I might be away for 8 weeks and give them enough time. But because I was so last minute, remember it was July this started for me. People had been casted in around March. So some people had already been set, ready, told work, done all of these things. I was moving at pace. So then I had to tell work once I got the all clear, and I can't remember, I think I got the all clear at the end of July maybe. Yeah, around there. I can't remember the date exactly. And I had to be like, look, I'm going away soon in August at some point for a TV show. Can I have the time off? And they basically just said, we don't know. I might have to like take this further and speak to the director, CFO, and then see what HR can do. But then it all got the all clear after a long discussion, and I got unpaid leave. But what then I got told was after the first 3 weeks, when I would get my phone back and my laptop and everything else, this would be the living stage. So when you're now living with your partner, if you have made it that far, I would be able to work from wherever I was. So that was the agreement we had. I don't know if I mentioned how my family felt about it, but my mum, she was just like, Demola, don't bring no olodo home. So it's just don't bring no foolish person home. She was like, don't bring any old wife, basically, is what she was saying. And my dad was just like, go and do what you need to do, but just don't embarrass us. And so yeah, that was all they said. And then my sister was again a fan of the show, so she just really wanted me to go in there and just take the experiment seriously. And if I found a wife out of it, good. And if I didn't, it's not the end of the world. Like, don't think any less of yourself. And that was the same for my brother and his fiance. So what I did do is I watched, which was advised as well, I watched the first season of the American one before I went on. And then I really liked the story of Cameron and Lauren. And because of that, I thought, oh, they're still together. This might actually work. So let me actually just date intentionally in there and take it seriously. So I might have been ruling people out very early and stuff like that. But I was dating with intention, so I wanted to make it serious about who I thought would be my wife. So now I've got the all go ahead and I know I'm going to be on the show. I'm being picked up and I'm going to be taken to a hotel a day before where I'm going to not have my phone, etc., etc. And I'm going to meet up the other boys. I'm going to meet up the other boys and then we're going to go to the pods. For me now it's getting real. I'm getting real. I get to the airport and I'm thinking I'm still going to have my phone while I'm in this hotel. I get there, take my phone, seal it away. I had to quickly say goodbyes. I'm very like nonchalant with everything. So I was like, oh gosh, they're taking my phone right now. Mom, love you, bye. Everyone, gone. Meet all the other boys. We bond for like a day, go through some other stuff. And once that's done, we're off. The next day, we're practically in the pods and it's press day. Press day is when you're taking all of the shots that you see on the when they reveal the cast. And I just want to clear up because I was getting a lot of I was getting a lot of stick for my outfit choice, and I feel like I like to dress well. What had happened was my initial outfit, which was approved, they didn't want me to wear no more. And I'm going to throw it up and show you because I would have looked like gato mate. I was ready. I was dressed up in a like burgundy suit, black shirt. I was looking suave-mola. However, they didn't want it to look out of place because no one else was wearing a suit. So it was more like a, I guess, like smart casual vibe. But let me know what you think. Before you get to the hotel and you're fully approved, you go through checks, which I forgot to mention. Those checks are intense checks, so it's pretty much credit history, blood testing, like all of these things, and then your social media gets checked. Yeah, they just do a lot of extensive checks to make sure that you are fit and healthy to be in this process. So that can be psych as well. And yeah, they really make sure that they check the candidates are eligible for this process because it's very intense. And that's one thing I will say. They, I think they thoroughly check. I think they do their due diligence in thoroughly checking most things before you actually enter the show. And obviously some things might slip through the net, but I think with the precautions and steps and measures they take, they do a good job. But that was the like basics of how I got on the show. Then obviously when we get in the pods, it's like, what are you thinking? How are you gonna approach these dates? And I guess the behind the scenes of how it all works. Without revealing anything, I think the process is interesting, but also like exciting. I have no regrets of anything I've done, and I think it wasn't what I was expecting. That's the best way to put it, because I've never been in that situation. So yeah, going into these dates, each day it whittling down and me thinking like I have these connections and stronger connections and picking furthermore. I think because you're in a heightened experience where you don't have your phone, and yeah, there's just a lot of emotions running wild. Like I was doing things that I didn't normally do. I would, I don't write notes, so it was very hard for me in terms of to engage with people that I thought I was strongly connected to. I had to close my book and just flow with how I felt and speak to them. But then what I would do is when I went home or when I was back in the lounge, I'd write or I'd journal at the end of the day, and I'd say, oh, okay, what I liked about this conversation with them, because I kind of have a good memory, and then I would take that forward into the next chat I have with them or whatever I wanted to ask them, just so I was a bit more, I guess, what's the saying? Fail to prepare to fail. So like I was just like trying to put myself in good stead because I knew I'm not a good note taker, you know, and that's the only thing you can do. I'm happy to always go into detail with my dates, other connections, but I just wanted to give a brief little, you know, intro of how I actually got on the show. I think if there's any more things you want to know, let's do this. I know. I'm going to say in the comments, just put loads of questions you want answered, and I'll do another video just answering all the questions in the comments. So that could be anything. You name it, put it in and let me know, and I'm going to just fire away from there. You know me, you know D, like, look, I might play too much, but I was serious about finding a wife. So yeah, man, this whole process was, I want to say, to me, it was amazing, and I'm glad that I actually done it in the end. I didn't know it would turn out like this, but as I said, I'm here for the ride. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those things, and I'll provide whatever more info you want to know. Blow.